Hello, Abby. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm really well. It's lovely to see you. You're looking great.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thanks so much for jumping on and joining us today. I just wanted to give an opportunity because I loved the time that we spent together when we had that coffee a few months back, and I really got a lot out of that conversation. And I just wanted more people to sort of share that really and get an insight into your experience as a volunteer. So I wonder if we could start with telling us a bit about yourself and how it is you came to volunteer for Cumbria Family Support.
Yeah. So I started volunteering with Cumbria Family Support while I was in my second year of doing my degree, because I wanted to do something meaningful alongside my studies, but I couldn't really commit to a full-time job because that was going to be a bit too much. Um, but I came to volunteer for Cumbria Family Support because I'd had some personal experience um, of family support when I was growing up. My dad was raising three young children alone, so we had someone who came in and helped once a week with some household jobs and looking after us and playing with us. And I just remember how positive that experience was for him and how he talks about it. And that was quite inspiring for me to give something back by supporting families who might be going through difficult times that are similar.
Yeah, how lovely. What a lovely memory.
Yeah.
And we hope that our families, particularly the children in our families, will have similar memories. So was it always going to be us? How did you get to find about us? How did you find us? Because so often people don't know about us until they come across, I know, one of our volunteer coordinators or somebody
Yeah.
like that out in the field.
Well, I actually just Googled like family support Carlisle, and I came across you and I read through the website and thought, oh, this is really this seems really good. It was, similar to some of my values, like the values that you have. So it was just a thing of Googling it and finding you and then realizing that, oh, this sounds really good. And then I sent in a email from the website, from the contact us page. And yeah,
The rest is history.
yeah.
So what's your course? What were you studying at the time?
I was studying undergrad psychology, um, but I had just switched from the person-centered counselling side of the course to just the pure psychology side. But that person-centered therapy was kind of integrated into the the support that you offer in home-based environments, and that
Mhm.
was really interesting.
Great, great. It's lovely when things cross over like that because we're really interested in getting volunteers from all walks of life and all different
Yeah,
sort of backgrounds. And obviously, volunteering tends to be more applicable for people perhaps with a bit more time on their hands, but also things like placements and people that are in a point in their career where it's not just rewarding for them, but they can, really improve their practice with whatever
yeah,
it is they're looking to do. So I think that's what made you stick in my mind really, long after we sat and had a coffee, was just how, I don't know, how faithful it was really that you came
yeah.
along when you did. But so tell us a bit about your family and what was the process with sort of being matched? How long did it take? What were they
Um,
like?
so after doing my kind of induction training, I think it took about a month to be matched with a family. And at the time, I was also volunteering with another organisation, and a family had been, told to me that, oh, we could place you with this person. And I actually knew them from the other volunteering. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe not, conflict of interest.
Mhm.
Um, but this family, um, I was matched with had two young children, both with physical disabilities and developmental delays. Um, and understandably, that was a lot of pressure on the parents. But when I was told about them, it just seemed like it would be quite a good match
Mhm.
because I've worked in early years care before and I have been Senko of my setting, so special educational needs coordinator. That kind of fit quite well with what I'd done in the past, and I kind of understood that, there might be some physical work involved. So I
Mm.
wasn't really going in completely blind to
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So what were the needs that came through on that referral? Do you know what initially was it both parents that required the support? Was it the children that required the support? What did you go in there to do?
It was the mum who was currently not working when I started, and the children that needed a bit of support. Um, for the mum, just getting out the house, really, she was really isolated and quite a social butterfly, I would say, before they adopted the
Right.
children. Um, so yeah, she needed a bit of emotional support and a bit of, sometimes a bit of distraction from what was going on because it was a lot,
Yeah.
because of the boys, obviously not being able to walk and signing some stuff and learning that kind of thing. Um, and sometimes their behaviour was a little bit challenging and she needed help with that.
Right. Right.
But really just, having being able to have a daily routine reduced a lot of stress for her.
Mhm.
So it was for me to go in and kind of be able to put that daily routine into action of these are the times that Abby's come in and we can do this in this time because I've helped to go out the house.
Fantastic. How did you build that relationship? Did you have stuff in common? Was it instant that you clicked with the family, or how did you go about building? Because when strangers meet, especially when it's in someone's home,
Yeah.
was that difficult at all? Are there any challenges?
Well, my first visit, I remember feeling really, really nervous. Um, but when I went in, the mum was so open and so chatty, and that really helped me settle in. And that first visit, I think I spent the majority of the time while Dan was talking to the mum, playing with the kids on the floor, like just sat on the floor playing with them, completely natural. And they were really open to me coming in as well. They weren't really holding themselves back because I was a stranger. They were really involved in that. And I think when mum saw that, I think that really helped. But I also gave them a bit of background on my life so they could get a glimpse into what I was doing because I was walking into their home and seeing all of their life.
Mhm.
So I thought that was a nice swap.
Yeah,
Um, yes, but I also, tried to stay really, really consistent with times I would go and not cancelling without quite a lot of notice so they could make other arrangements, um, and be quite reliable in that sense.
yeah.
But with the mum, we had similar tastes in music, and she dyed her hair before, and that was quite nice to hear stories about her dyeing her hair in the past, with my hair obviously being bright red.
You mean that's
Um,
not natural?
Unfortunately, no. But yeah, so similar taste in music. So she would tell me how, like, when they were in the car on the weekends, they'd put on rock music and the boys would kind of like sing along to the rock music, and that was really nice and quite comforting.
Yeah,
Um, but she also asked like weekly for updates on how my university journey was going. So that opened up a lot of conversation and made the relationship quite a bit stronger.
yeah,
Um, there were moments throughout spending time with them that were quite challenging. Um, the children being quite a lot to manage sometimes when they weren't um, behaving or hadn't had a lot of sleep or were feeling a bit poorly, um, because they couldn't fully express themselves. I needed to be quite patient, and also have a lot of empathetic understanding for the family situation, considering like mum felt quite a lot of grief because they had lost a family member at one point. Um, and that was just trying to stay flexible in the support I could offer. But I think having like clear conversation and getting to know each other and her getting to know me quite well really helped her open up to me and tell me what she was struggling with that day so I could go in and say, okay, I can give her a distraction and, you know, do that kind of thing. Or, okay, let's get out of the house. Why don't we go to Houghton Hall and do some kind of activity that, gets you out of that one room that you stay in all day, every day. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very isolating, isn't it? Especially when you've got children that have additional needs.
Yeah.
So did you take, because obviously you finished your time with us now, what did you take away from the experience personally yourself? Did you get anything out of it other than the practice that you will take on with your career? Was there something, any sort of like memories or abiding sort of feelings that came from our time together?
I mean, I think I learned so much about myself while I was volunteering, um, that I'm really quite adaptable in the moment to different types of offering different types of support, like I said, and it helps my confidence grow immensely, knowing that I can enjoy forming positive relationships with adults and I'm not limited to children, even though all I've done is work with children in the past.
Mhm.
Um, and I have struggled to make relationships with adults because there's less common ground there, and I don't have kids, so I don't really want to be recommending things to parents when they are the ones that are having to go through this. I'm not there to see the consequences of things that I might suggest.
Mhm.
So yeah, but I also learned how passionate I am about my career while at Cumbria Family Support and the direction I want to go in. And that I want to continue supporting children and families because at one point I didn't know if that was going to be I call it my forever career.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I really took that away from the experience of like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna want to do. Yeah.
So what is your next steps? What are you next? What's next on the horizon for Abbey?
So I'm currently working in a residential care home again because I mean, I really love it there. Um, but I'm just counting that as a stepping stone, and I'm applying to the NHS Trainee Assistant Clinical Psychology program in November. Hopefully, I can get onto that, and that will allow me to possibly go and do my doctorate in clinical psychology, specialising in children and young people.
Wonderful. We are so proud of you, Abby. Honestly, I'm just, yeah, I'm proud of all these things and none of my achievements whatsoever. But you've just been so fantastic for the organisation. I know Dan speaks so highly of you and the impact that you made for that family. Now we've got, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because we've got a business plan coming up in spring next
Mhm.
year. You've got not just lived experience, but expertise. You know, you're going to be Dr. Abbey
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
soon, I'm sure. Um, what would you say we need as an organisation to focus on?
I think focusing on early support for children's emotional well-being is really essential. And the earlier children receive help, the better it is on the long-term outcomes for them. But supporting parents to understand and manage children's emotions and their own ways of coping with behaviour, um, especially when families are under stress, can make such a huge difference of not getting to that point of crisis.
Yeah.
Um, I think continuing to work with schools and health services and mental health teams will help make sure that families don't fall through the cracks a little bit. Um, and I think the more volunteers get to experience being involved in supporting children's emotional resilience directly, as well as understanding that, play development is such a huge thing that some non-traditional families with, non-traditional parenting may not see. So going in there and, providing a little bit of information and then a little bit of encouragement, I think that's a massive thing to, for volunteers and people to put themselves out of the comfort zone and just sit on the floor and play, and you might not think that that makes a big difference, but that is one of the biggest parts for children's development, and it also gets families involved, especially nowadays with screen time and social media and all of that thing. It's kind of just a little reset that's family time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I always say you don't know what you don't know, and children don't come with a handbook. We're
Yeah.
all expected to have these sort of instincts about what you immediately do with your children. And I think what I'm most proud of with this organization is our non-judgmental approach and
Yeah.
going in there and saying, let's just get on the floor
Yeah.
and have a game today. You know,
Yeah.
it's something that everybody can do, and it's so important, isn't it, for
Yeah.
children's development. Abby, you've been absolutely fantastic. We are always looking for volunteers, so if I was a volunteer and I'm like on the cusp and thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I, what would you say to somebody that's thinking of volunteering?
Um, I would say absolutely go for it. Absolutely go for it. It's such a rewarding experience. And that, saying that is a bit selfish because it makes you feel so good when you can provide the most basic support in some senses. Um, but I saw firsthand how much of a difference you can make by just being consistent and being caring and being kind. Um, and that, that's helped my own personal development as well. Again, selfishly, I gained some skills that are so incredibly valuable, both in my personal life and professionally. And sometimes that feeling out of your comfort zone, but adapting to situations is the best thing that you can learn about yourself. So I'd say, yeah, go for it. What you think may be small is like 2 hours once a week can be a huge turning point for a family. And that's the difference that you can make. So yeah, try it, go for it. You'll enjoy it and you probably won't want to leave because I didn't.
You'll never leave. Oh, Abby, thank you so much for spending this time with us. You were such a gift to us for the time that we had you, and thanks for keeping in touch and staying in touch with us. And hopefully, we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Bye bye.
Bye.